Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our MJ Foster Promise Program informational webinar hosted by the Louisiana Office of Student Financial Assistance. I'm Shane Crapell. I am the co-director of the Division of College Access, Success, and Communications, and I work with our collegiate and our community partners in outreach. I also work with our communications efforts as well. So we wanted to go over the program and answer any questions that you may have. So also with me, I have our program specialist for MJ Foster Promise, Ms. Brittany Theriault with our Scholarships and Grants Division, and also with College Access, Success, and Communications, I have April Mergens here, who is our Public Information Officer for MJ Foster Promise and our adult learners. So let me go over what we will be discussing today. So we will be providing an overview of the program, the eligibility requirements for the program, the award amounts that you can receive through the program, how to maintain eligibility, how to apply for the program, legislative changes to the program that we've seen over the current legislative session, and then we will have an opportunity to answer questions. You can drop questions during the presentation in the Q&A feature you have at the bottom of the Zoom. We will be answering those, typed out those answers during the course of the presentation, but we will be answering those questions verbally for all to hear once we get to the questions portion of the presentation today. So the Louisiana Office of Student Financial Assistance, we administer the MJ Foster Promise Program. We're a program of the Board of Regents. We work to be Louisiana's first choice for college access by promoting, preparing, and providing for equity of college access through our programs. We administer the state scholarships and grant programs and the state's Internal Revenue Code Section 529 college saving programs.
All right, thank you, Shane. So we'll begin with a year in review for the 22-23 award year for the MJ Foster Promise Program. We've had over 6,000 applicants and aided numerous students in accessing higher education. We've interacted with students via text, email, phone call, video session, and held numerous orientations, all of which we've had repeat attendees. Students were offered the opportunity to connect with LOSFA staff, school representatives, and were provided wraparound services, which we will continue into the new award year.
So a brief overview of the program. So the program is geared towards adult learners, those who are Louisiana residents, age 21 and older, who have not yet earned a degree at the associate level or above, and are seeking a post-secondary diploma, credential, or degree in one of these 5 high-demand fields, which are information technology, manufacturing, construction, transportation and warehousing, and healthcare. So under these 5 sectors, there are over 200 eligible programs at our eligible schools. We will be providing a list of those eligible programs. So you have lots of options under these sectors to choose from when deciding on a program. These programs are also offered at certain approved schools. The programs can be taken at LSU Eunice, Southern University Shreveport, all of the LCTCS institutions, and then approved proprietary schools. You can find a full list of all of the institutions, including the approved proprietary schools, on our website. You can also find them in the resources that will be shared with each of the participants at the end of the webinar. So the initial eligibility requirements for the program, you have to be at least 21 years of age as of the date that the school bills LOSFA for the award. You have to have earned a high school diploma or the equivalent, or co-enrolled in a qualified program of study and in a program to earn a high school credential that's recognized by the state. You have to be both a U.S. citizen and a Louisiana resident. You cannot have previously earned an undergraduate degree at the associate level or above. You have to complete the MJ Foster Promise Program application. If you're a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces and you've been separated from your service, You have to have received an honorable discharge or general discharge under honorable conditions to be considered for the program. You also have to meet the admission requirements of the institution that you plan to attend, and you have to enroll and maintain your enrollment in an eligible program of study through the 14th class day of the semester or the last day to drop and receive a full refund for the course of study that you are enrolled in a proprietary school or non-traditional semester or term basis. You also have to agree to reside and work full-time in Louisiana for a minimum of 1 year after the completion of the last program of study that you receive MJ Foster Promise funds for. You also have to certify that you are currently not imprisoned, that you have not been convicted of a violent crime. Those who have been convicted of a violent crime but are not incarcerated for that crime are still ineligible. And you have to have a family income that does not exceed 300% of the federal poverty guidelines, or certified that you are currently unemployed or have been underemployed for a period of at least 6 months prior to the date that you would receive the award. In order to determine if you meet that federal poverty guideline, you can find a link that will allow you to determine that on our website as well.
All righty, thank you. So, does the program allow students to go to college for free? So although LOSFA does strive to provide resources that help students earn post-secondary credentials with little to no student debt, there are opportunities with combined resources where students can complete eligible programs enduring little to no cost, but it is all dependent upon the cost of the program, all gift aid available, and the student need and expenses. Award amounts may not exceed $1,600 per semester or $3,200 per year. Students may receive up to $6,400 per year for certain high-cost programs that can be completed in less than 1 year. Students may receive a maximum of $6,400 over a period of 3 years. And students cannot receive MJ Foster Promise and TOPS. The student will receive whichever award is higher. All right, so LOSFA does not pay students directly. The school in which you are enrolled will request funds on your behalf. Students may not receive a refund of the MJ Foster Promise Award, and the award allows the MJ Foster Promise program allows the award to be used for mandatory books and instructional materials in addition to tuition and mandatory fees.
Thank you, Brittany. So if you become eligible and use the MJ Foster Award for the first time, there are some continuing requirements that you must meet in order to keep using the award for the entire academic year. To maintain eligibility for MJ Foster, a recipient must complete the FAFSA prior to receipt of a second award payment and annually thereafter, unless enrolled in a program that is not eligible for federal financial aid as determined by the school in which you are enrolled. You must also annually complete the online application for an MJ Foster Promise Program Award. And you might ask, well, why do we have to do this every year? It is because life changes happen. So an increase in one income year to the next could affect your eligibility. You must continue to meet initial eligibility requirements and make steady academic progress. It's important to understand that you must make steady academic progress, good academic standing, continuous enrollment, and a cumulative grade point average of at least a 2.0 in a qualified program, or your award will be canceled. For those programs where grades are not provided, students must still meet steady academic progress. You must also continue to meet the requirements as it pertains to incarcerations and convictions, and also honorable discharge in the U.S. Armed Forces. You cannot receive the award more than 3 consecutive academic years, and you cannot use the award to earn more than 60 hours of college credit. You may continue to receive an award as long as you meet all of the continuing eligibility requirements, have not exhausted the maximum award of $6,400, and have not received it for more than 3 years. So LOSFA understands that sometimes setbacks happen. If you receive the MJ Foster Promise Award and endure circumstances that prevent you from meeting the continuing enrollment requirements, such as you're facing a temporary disability, you have a death in the family, there are some job-related circumstances, military service, pregnancy, and the list goes on, there is a process where you can appeal the cancellation of your award, and that process is called the exceptions form. Please note that you may only request an exception for continuous enrollment requirements. If you do not maintain a 2.0 cumulative GPA, then unfortunately you will lose eligibility for the award. There are no exceptions for not meeting the GPA or for not meeting the steady academic progress requirements. The best practice is that before you quit a program or if you see your grades dropping, you reach out to us. It's always better to be proactive than reactive. So if you're thinking, sign me up, what do I do to apply? Well, it's a rather simple process. You will first complete the MJ Foster Promise Program application located on the website. And after this presentation, we will send you all a list of all of those contacts and resources. And then you have to apply and enroll to the participating college and program of your choice. Note that the eligible program must start between July 1 of this year through June 30th of next year. Once you apply, LOSFA will communicate with you via email on next steps and how to access your eligibility status via our Student Hub portal. If you are found eligible, you will self-report to your college's financial aid office, and then they will start the billing process. The institution will determine final eligibility based on the program in which you are enrolled and the amount of tuition, fees, books, and instructional supplies after all other sources of gift aid are applied. Remember that gift aid excludes student loans, federal work study, and WIOA. So now you may be thinking, information overload. Yes, we know this is a lot of information, but we are here to guide you every step of the way. You can reach out to us through email, through text, by phone, and by scheduling one-on-one virtual meetings, similar to this Zoom format. LOSFA regularly communicates with students via email, and we host monthly sessions where students can access resources, ask questions, network with colleges, peers, industry, as well as receive other wraparound services that strengthens one's ability to be successful in their academic journey. So if you are found eligible, you start receiving funds from the award and you complete your program. Don't forget that upon receiving the funds, you agree to reside and work full-time in Louisiana for a minimum of 1 year after the completion of your last program of study for which you received funding. So if you completed a medical certification or degree, you must reside and work in Louisiana for 1 year after receiving your credential. If you received your CDL license, you must reside and work full-time in Louisiana in a career where obtaining your CDL license was beneficial. All right, Brittany?
I was muted, I apologize. Thank you, April. So to wrap us up, we'll now turn to the legislative changes that are going into effect. So it now allows that the award can be used for mandatory books and instructional materials in addition to tuition and mandatory fees. For the initial award year, students were only able to use the award for mandatory books and they were only able to use the award for tuition and fees. However, it has now been expanded that students can use the award for mandatory books and instructional materials. So it allows students to receive one payment prior to completing a FAFSA, but it must be completed prior to receipt of additional funding unless the program of study is not eligible for federal student aid, or the student can demonstrate that they cannot complete the FAFSA due to extenuating circumstances beyond their control. The changes also eliminate the requirement that students complete 20 hours of community service or a program-related apprenticeship, internship, or mentorship. And it also requires that in the event of a budget shortfall, payments be made first to eligible continuing students. All right, so these are the ways that you can connect with LOSPA via social media. So you can reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram. You can connect with us on the web. So you can ask Lex any question on our website. If Lex isn't able to answer your question, you'll be routed over to a live agent. We have virtual office hours available for students, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. Here is a list of contacts and resources mentioned throughout today's presentation. This information will be shared via email with all registrants in attendance today. And we'll move on over to the Q&A portion of the webinar. Any questions that we are unable to get to today will be answered in a follow-up email in which today's presentation and the answers to those questions will be shared. Any questions you have, you can drop in that Q&A box. You're welcome. Thank you all for attending today.
So Brittany, if you get a Pell Grant award, can you still get this program's award?
So the MJ Foster Promise Award is limited to tuition and fees and instructional materials and supplies. So if your Pell Grant covers the full cost of your tuition and fees and books and supplies, then you may not be eligible for the MJ Foster Promise Award.
Is the deadline to apply today? Can you go over that priority deadline that's been going through?
Yeah, so we had a priority deadline for our returning students of April 15th. This priority deadline does not prevent students from completing the application after June 15th. So if you're a new student or even a returning student, you can complete the application today onward, and we encourage you to do so.
Okay. How long until they know that they've been accepted or denied once they fill out that MJ Foster application?
So it does generally take about a business day or two for that information to be reflected in the Student Hub. So just keep an eye out on your email, as you will receive an email from our office alerting you that you have a status update in the Student Hub. And if you haven't done so, make sure you create a Student Hub account.
Okay. Can you go over again? We've had some people that came in late. Can you discuss how we can send over the PDF, the recording for anyone who has missed information from the webinar?
We'll send the entire presentation and any questions answered and that we weren't able to answer to all registrants once we wrap it up. If you're interested in applying, that application link is listed on our website. So you can apply there, and that link will also be included in the presentation materials that we will share with you.
Okay, we do have a question. Someone was enrolled in a institution, received the degrees of that institution, and now it is of their belief that the degrees are no longer valid. If that is the case, would someone be eligible for MJ Foster?
I think we would need to review that case by case. So if you'll reach out to us at mjfoster.promise@la.gov, and we'll also follow up with you via email just to verify this information.
All right. Does MJ Foster pay for online classes?
So online program eligibility varies by institution. So you'll need to reach out to the approved school in which you wish to enroll to see if the program is eligible online.
Okay. Is there availability to use MJ Foster for LPN to RN bridge programs?
So currently, the only program requirement as far as education for initial eligibility is that you have not earned an associate degree or higher.
So as long as the bridge program is listed as an eligible program at that eligible institution, they could possibly be eligible, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. Surgery tech, is that, do you know if it's listed under the programs that are eligible? I believe it is, but
I would double check on the approved programs list that we'll provide to you when we follow up via email. This information is also available on our website. As Shane mentioned, we have over 200 eligible programs under those 5 approved sectors. So I encourage you to review that list. And if you have a school that you're interested in, so if it's one of those participating schools, they've done a really good job about listing the approved programs on their websites.
okay. Can you go over the how MJ Foster is utilized when there is a balance? What does it cover? And then the next steps on what financial aid offices at the colleges do to submit those funds requested.
Yeah, so the award is limited to tuition and fees and books and instructional materials. Students cannot receive a refund of the award, and it will be applied after Pell Grants and scholarships and institutional aid.
Right. Can you still be eligible for a program if you've taken college courses but have still yet to receive an undergraduate degree, such as the associates and above?
So yeah, if you've not earned an associate degree or above, then you would be potentially eligible to participate in the MJ Foster Promise Award. You want to make sure that you are meeting the admission requirements of the institution.
Bernie, what happens if you go into the program having not done well in the past? So you're starting out with a rocky GPA. Can that affect your MJ Foster eligibility?
So the initial award, so initial eligibility does not look at the GPA. For future payments, so to maintain eligibility, you want to make sure that you're maintaining a 2.0 cumulative GPA in a qualified program of study.
Okay. And what does it mean to be waitlisted? They've applied and they've gotten the notification that they are currently on the wait list.
Yes, so with all of these new legislative changes, we have automatically waitlisted eligible students. It is temporary, so stay tuned for an update via email regarding your status. So just hold tight, we'll get you there.
And one more time, can you go over the new legislative changes as it pertains to FAFSA and that first application process?
So if you are a brand new applicant who has never received the MJ Foster Promise Award, then you can bypass that FAFSA. However, for the initial payment, but for subsequent payments, if the program in which you are enrolled is a Title IV eligible program, meaning that the program is eligible for federal financial aid, then you are required to complete the FAFSA before receiving a second payment. So if you didn't complete the FAFSA initially and you got your initial award as a first-time student for the MJ Foster Promise program, and then you're enrolled in a program that's eligible for federal financial aid, you must complete your FAFSA before receiving a second payment.
Thank you. I know we have some questions regarding wraparound services. So does LOSFA help students with career advising? Can you go over a little bit of what our student network group is when they meet, and then the contact list that we'll provide with that information?
Yeah, definitely. So we do have a student network group geared toward the MJ Foster Promise program, but they do also have other student network groups available. So you could, cross mingle in those groups if you wanted. So Miss Marsha Bearden from the student network group offers services relating to academic and emotional well-being for students. In the past, she has helped students obtain community service resources. And currently, I believe that they have just a person that attends each month. So it's held the third Thursday of each month. And they just provide information helpful to success of the program. April, do you want to add anything else about Student Network Group?
Yes, so they also will have guest speakers from the industry. So if I know that they work closely with healthcare organizations, hospitals, for those that are seeking healthcare credentials, to start that networking process where you can look and see who's hiring, what kind of skill sets are they looking for, what are the job fairs that are locally near you. So it is a great career advising opportunity. There's opportunity for you to have mock interviews, to understand how to prepare for an interview, how to write a resume. So LOUISA does provide those resources. And the first stop would be with our student network group. And we'll have those links for you under our resources page. Okay. We have one that says, can they still apply if they attend another university? They're currently an alumni with one of our eligible colleges. So just one more time, talk about those credentials, how you can't get
Yeah.
so much.
So universities are not eligible for the MJ Foster Promise Award. It's the participating institutions include Southern Shreveport, which is a 2-year school, LSU Eunice, and then all schools within LCTCS. So those are 2-year public schools like BRCC, Delgado, RPCC. And we also have about 34 approved proprietary schools that students can attend. If you're an alumni of RPCC, meaning you've earned an associate degree, then you would not be eligible for the MJ Foster Promise Award.
And I'll just add on to, if you are an alumni of a community college or community and technical college, and you have earned a technical degree, but have not earned an associate's degree, you can utilize this award. So the award, you're not able to use the award once you reach that associate's level and above, but earning a technical degree or earning any other certifications, non-credit workforce certifications, industry certifications will still allow you to be eligible depending on the other requirements that you've met. So students have applied, they get the letter that they are eligible. What do they do then? Can you discuss the self-reporting?
Yeah, so if you wanted to bring that eligibility notice that you can access on your Student Hub account under the Notifications tab over to the participating school, you can certainly do that. So you can bring it over to the financial aid office. And we also have means in which we communicate with the schools regarding student eligibility. But if you wanted to add that extra step of bringing your eligibility notice over to the financial aid office, we encourage you to do that.
Okay. We have another question regarding if the program is free. So do you want to touch base on what the program covers and what their opportunities are?
Yeah, so it really depends on the program in which you are enrolled. So the program only covers the cost of tuition, mandatory fees, books, and instructional materials. And it is limited to $1,600 per semester. You could potentially receive up to $6,400 in the first year if you're enrolled in a program that can be completed in less than 1 year. If you're in a program that takes 1 year or more, you're limited to $1,600 per semester or $3,200 per year. The award maximum over the lifetime of 3 years is $6,400.
Okay. And just to reiterate that MJ Foster Promise covers over 200 programs. Those programs are inclusive to academic programming up to an associate's degree level at the eligible institutions, but it also covers non-credit programs. So for instance, we have RPCC has been mentioned in the Q&A, so I'm going to mention it again. RPCC has a workforce division, and in the workforce division, they have technical programs related to those 5 sectors that are eligible. So you can take those non-credit workforce programs as long as they are at an eligible institution and are listed as an eligible program. So I'd highly go to our website, look at the names of those programs, but also visit your college that you're looking at going to and making sure that that non-credit workforce program is listed under the MJ Foster Promise program. Can students receive MJ Foster with prerequisites or for prerequisites before entering into a program?
So prerequisite coursework can potentially qualify for the MJ Foster Promise Award. Additionally, I see that you noted that you used your lifetime eligibility for Pell. You can still access the MJ Foster Promise Award having used your Pell lifetime eligibility.
Can a student be ineligible for or be found ineligible for the first payment? Let's see.
So I think for this case, for
Yeah.
this instance, it's going to be case by case. With all the new legislative changes, there are much discussions to be had, so we'll follow up with you.
Okay, so how do you sign up, apply as a first-time student to MJ Foster?
So you'll just visit our website and you can access the direct link to the MJ Foster Promise application.
And to Mr. Gibson, unfortunately, MJ Foster Promise does not, if you already earned an associate's degree, you're not eligible to receive MJ Foster Promise, but LOSFA also has other resources and opportunities that may be available to you. If you will, email cusserve@la.gov, or you can email the mjfoster.promise@la.gov and it'll be forwarded to us. We can find out more information about what career you are looking to transition into, where you're located, what colleges you're wanting to go to, and we can assist you in finding some other financial aid resources and opportunities that are out there. All right. Does the amount usually cover a full-time semester?
So it does depend on the cost of the program. So again, it's limited to $1,600 per semester. If you are enrolled less than full-time, those hours will be prorated based on the number of hours in which you are enrolled.
Awesome. Okay, can you go on a little bit about those that are co-enrolled in both community or a college and pursuing their high set or their high school equivalency credential? What does that process look for them?
So you'll need to apply and then just enroll in a qualified program of study and co-enroll in a high-zip program. April, you might be able to speak a little bit more to what that process looks like for students.
So the state of Louisiana accepts the high school equivalency certification that we accept is the high set moving forward. So Louisiana has many free adult education programs listed under Work Ready U that is housed with LCTCS, and we can provide that resource to you after the webinar as well. So basically, you will want to, self-reporting is critical and essential with MJ Foster Promise. So if you are pursuing your high school equivalency diploma and wanting to use MJ Foster, number one, apply to the MJ Foster Promise application. To let your adult education program instructor know that you are applying to MJ Foster, and then let your college know that you are co-enrolled in an adult education program. They may want to know what the name of the program is. Most often, those programs are going to be housed within the college that you are probably wanting to attend, so it'd be easier access for them to get that information. But self-reporting that you are co-enrolled in a program is important so that we can all do due diligence in making sure that you're eligible for the MJ Foster Promise program. Is being unemployed or part-time a mandatory requirement for the MJ Foster Promise program?
It is not. So that language is coming from the income requirement. So it does require that you have a family income that does not exceed 300% of the federal poverty level, or it requires that you be unemployed or underemployed for at least 6 months. But no, you can work you can take on whatever, professional load and academic load that works for you.
All right, just a few more questions that we see. If someone attended a technical college many years ago, 25 years ago, but they also did some college courses as well, never graduated, could they be eligible?
So
Possibly.
yeah, it really depends. The initial eligibility does not have any academic requirements. Moving forward, to maintain the award, you would need to have a cumulative 2.0 and a qualified program of study.
And if you want to reach back out to us regarding that technical college experience, and if you earned any kind of certifications or diplomas, degrees, we can probably assist you further in finding out your eligibility status for that. All right, any other questions?
And I just wanted to follow up quickly on that work requirement. So again, it's individual to what you can handle as a student, but some programs may have work requirements included or limit the amount of hours that you could potentially work. But again, that's going to be based on program. But the MJ Foster Promise Award does not. We don't limit the amount of hours that you work, just so long as that your income does not exceed 300% of the federal poverty level.
So let's have a scenario where when I completed the FAFSA and based off of the income tax information that was put on the FAFSA, because it is a requirement for 2 years prior, it does state that I exceed the 300% poverty level. But I recently, over the last 6 months, found myself underemployed, not being able to get 40 hours a week, or I found myself unemployed. How does that help, or how does that process through with the MJ Foster Promise program?
Yeah, so the MJ Foster Promise application is going to be asking for your income from the prior year. So you're going to report your income from the prior year on the application, and that will be used to determine eligibility based off the 300% of the federal poverty level. If you are in a situation in which you were underemployed or unemployed for the last 6 months, you will indicate that on your application, and we'll use that to determine eligibility for the award.
What happens if they get an error when filling out the application? Where can they go? Who can they contact?
Yeah, if you experience an error when attempting that MJ Foster application, you can email mjfoster.promise@la.gov. That information is included on that contact and resources slide that we will share with you.
All right. Shane, do you want to close this out?
Certainly. So waiting for my camera to turn back on. So thank you to everyone for joining us today. Well, we will have another session available this afternoon. If you want to share that information with those that you may know may be interested in the program, we will be offering another session at 2 o'clock. We'll also be sharing this recording along with the Q&A and other resources, and then we will try to work on gathering all of the questions that were asked today in this session to send sort of a recap out to all of the registrants. So remember, if you have questions about the program, please reach out to us at mjfoster.promise@la.gov or through our virtual office hours, Lex, or our CusServe. We are happy to help. Also know that if you do not qualify for the program, we will also continue to work with you to help identify other sources of aid or other resources that could be available to you. So LOSFA is here for you beyond just the MJ Foster Promise program. So thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to serving you in the future. Thanks, everyone.